I rise today to offer a resolution expressing support for the Pledge of Allegiance as an historic and significant expression of patriotism. By the way, I did the same thing last year. In 2002, 19 years ago, Senator Tom Daschle raised a similar resolution with unanimous support from the Senate. It passed on the floor uneventfully without amendment. In a few days, this body can choose to do the same, to reaffirm our support for the Pledge of Allegiance. I rise today, too, to honor a Hoosier who understood the innate value of the Pledge of Allegiance to civic education. In 1969, Red Skelton, the American comedian and entertainer who is well known for his program on the CBS Red Skelton Hour, wrote a speech on the importance of the pledge. Reflecting on his time in Vincennes, a neighboring community to where I live, he spoke about the value instilled by one of his high school teachers in the words of the Pledge of Allegiance. After the performance of the speech, CBS received several 100,000 requests for copies. The speech would go on to be sold as a single by Columbia Records and performed at the White House for President Nixon. I think it would be an honor to Mr. Skelton's memory and the importance of the Pledge of Allegiance if it were recited today on the Senate floor in the words of Red Skelton. When I was a small boy in Vincennes, I heard, I think, one of the most outstanding speeches I ever heard in my life. I think it compares with the Sermon on the Mount, the Gettysburg Address, and Socrates' speech to the students. We had just finished reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, and he, Mr. Laswell, principal of Vincennes High School, called us all together and said, "Boys and girls, I've been listening to you recite the pledge all semester. It seems that it has become monotonous to you. Or could it be you do not understand the meaning of each word? If I may, I would like to recite the pledge and give you a definition of each word. I, me, an individual, a committee of one. Pledge, dedicate all of my worldly good to give without self-pity. Allegiance, my love and my devotion. To the flag, our standard, Old Glory, a symbol of courage, and wherever she waves, there is respect because your loyalty has given her a dignity that shouts, freedom is everybody's job. Of the united, that means we have all come together, states, individual communities that have united into 48 great states, 48 individual communities with pride and dignity and purpose, all divided by imaginary boundaries, yet united to a common cause, and that's love of country, of America, and to the republic, a sovereign state in which power is invested into the representatives chosen by the people to govern, us. And the government is the people, and it's from the people to the leaders, not from the leaders to the people, for which it stands, one nation, meaning so blessed by God, indivisible, incapable of being divided, with liberty, which is freedom, the right of power for one to live his own life without fears, threats, or any sort of retaliation. And justice, the principle and qualities of dealing fairly with others. For all. That means, boys and girls, it's as much your country as it is mine. Afterwards, Mr. Laswell asked his students to recite the Pledge of Allegiance together with newfound appreciation for the words. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Skelton concluded his speech by saying, "Since I was a small boy, 2 states have been added to our country, and 2 words have been added to the Pledge of Allegiance, if you listen closely, under God." Wouldn't it be a pity if someone said that is a prayer and that it be eliminated from our schools? Just as those students that day, Mr. Skelton included, recommitted to the meaning of the words of the Pledge of the Allegiance, I call upon the United States Senate to recommit to the meaning of these words. There are times today that the words of the pledge are tossed around without too much care. Other times they are altered to remove what today is deemed offensive or antiquated. But Americans should not misuse or abuse our Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance is meant to remind Americans of our guiding principles and inspire adherence to those ideas which make our country great. Equality under the law, recognize rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is why today I am requesting that in a few days we pass this resolution with unanimous consent, and I am hopeful that that occurs. I yield the floor.